Hi everyone, today is Friday, the 12th of September 2025. I hope you've enjoyed the last two video clips on my channel in regards to the court case on the 8th of September 2025. So this next video clip, I'm going to go over the evidence that I submitted to court, okay? It is a legal case. I'm up against the Crown, okay, and I will go over my own evidence that I submitted because I have found historically they are just cheating, okay, they're cheating and they're also stealing at the same time. It is a serious critical set of circumstance for me because they've actually ruined all my relationships historically. So just because, you know, we've got it looks like I've got nobody that cares, but the division is caused going back to 2010 with the protected disclosure with Independent Police Conduct and New Zealand Police. So historically, people have just taken turns micromanaging and stealing. This includes going out public on the bus or going out public on the train or even in the car over the years. These people are in my space, micromanaging, taking turns, abusing, carrying out other people's motive and intent. But my case definitely falls under crimes against humanity historically. But I will go over the evidence to do with my court case, and I'll leave it at that. I did ask the judge for I did make some direction. I will go over that on my documents that I submitted to court. Now, I've only had to do this because it's been a crisis for myself. I've been used for relationship scams. I've been denouncing all those other women linking to my court case. Their motive and intent is actually to steal, and I have no intention of letting anyone getting away with what they've done to me historically. But with my discovery of recent, I realized that they were actually inciting in government, and so I've had to denounce those things as they happen, and I'm going to keep denouncing them because that's illegal, it's unfair. But this explains the sabotage. They're using different people all the time. They are already glued in my space. So it is a very serious situation historically, and I know that. So I will go over the evidence with my next court case. Now, I know there's a lot of things going out there at the moment with Henry Cavill and Natalie Visciso trying to convince the public that they're not lying, blah, blah, blah. And Henry and I have already spoken about that, and I've actually told him it's not time for him to actually do anything public in regards to me and him for a few reasons. And it was my decision, not Henry's. So that's another reason why, he could, but we're not going to do that because it's no one's business, and safety-wise for himself and myself. And but I'm fighting against the historical global alliances linking to the court case. My case now is definitely 100% a slave-like system, servitude, using somebody for a slave. It's that intimate, okay? And I've not appreciated it one single bit. When I go out, other cultures are just taking turns. They're taking turns. It's really serious, okay? And even when on the day when I went in for court, I felt it was indicating more like a warlike. The Crown was representing some secret women that is apparently they want Henry to end up with. But Henry is not forced. There's no force from me. He knows what I'm like. And he's the same. He's got exactly the same personality when it comes to relationship. He doesn't like being forced. He doesn't like anyone organising and trying to set him up. I'm the same, okay? So he has that option to always walk away if he wanted to. But I have to make it clear that my court case is linked to those women. It's linked to what I'm worth, as you know, as far as my court case is concerned. So the judge was very aware that I'm representing myself. The judge is also very aware how critical my situation has been historically. But because of the mixed match, they keep changing everything. The courts have not done anything I've asked them, even though I'm the plaintiff and the Crown is definitely the defendant in the matter. So I will just concentrate on the force, okay, on these last two episodes. It just clearly indicates that it's just knowing the difference of what is micromanaged, what is organised, to natural justice. Okay, so basically I wasn't happy with what actually happened, so I just went along with it. But this is my versions of fact. I won't be able to get everything accurate what was said in there, but it was recorded. Okay, the court case was recorded. And the other thing I have found historically, I've asked the judge for a recording of transcript of all the other court cases, but they refused to give it to me. Not only that, I wanted it because I knew if the new judge was going to be a new judge, that it was only fair that the new judge listened to the transcript, and it was only fair that the new judge got all the documents. But I made an application for the judge to actually look at all the documents and file before she makes her decision. So the judge that was on the 8th of September 2025, just this week, was new. She was a new judge, and I just knew from just talking to her that the application, the court case was the application to strike out. Okay, but I will go over my evidence. I didn't know what to expect on the day when I went in because they were mucking me around. The courts, quite clearly the courts have sabotaged my case. It was bias and prejudice and everyone's trading in influence. And then they go and incite my life. Globally in government. I mean, where is the fairness is that? I mean, common sense is you don't have confidence in a system where everyone's so unruly. People are just taking the opportunity to steal, to get their foot in the door and take advantage of an innocent civilian. So for the sake of my family, and for the sake of my own faith, my own personal testimony, my truth, God is my judge, whatever happens, whatever is the outcome, what happens in my life, and don't forget, it's my life, the government doesn't own my life, they don't own my life, no, I haven't signed my authority to anyone, I haven't signed any authority for any agents to take over historically. So basically I'm just going to prove that the case is crimes against humanity, and they've turned me into a product, and then they've sowed seeds of discord by inciting versus these other women. So I'm going to go over it. This also is the new age system. They've deleted a lot of laws to cater for this game, meaning anyone can be lured and go through what I've gone through, It's been pure hell, right? What I've gone through, nobody makes a living out of suffering. So I'm going to go over my evidence, and you be the judge. And I just feel that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with me mentally, but it's the abuse. They are personally, intimately persecuting and emotionally tormenting a person. So all the Crimes Act, so all the laws in the acts of torture falls in my case. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I'll go over the evidence that was submitted. So take note, all I know is that the system, it can confuse new judges, can confuse new lawyers too. Okay, so unless you've got experience, but I wouldn't be confusing to other people that are old school like me. Okay, I'm not the type of person to mislead anyone. So as far as Henry Cavill and Natalie Vasquiso, there's no relationship there. Okay, so basically God's just showing me and everyone what a conspiracy is, but we're talking about several perpetrators operating as one just by using the misuse of devices and the stalking, which is trafficking, human trafficking of people, of course. So I think I'll leave it there. Sorry, the lighting is not great, but I will do that and hopefully to release that video ASAP. I have heard from the courts, so quite quickly too, so it could be good news, I don't know. I've learned just to hold on to things lightly and just let God guide me whichever direction I go. But as far as Henry and other women, there is no other women. We both know that we are both being animated, and substitutes are being used, and then the public are trying to, whoever's behind it are trying to force, forced marriages or arranged marriages. That's not my belief. I don't believe in that. Okay, nor does Henry. Like I said, he's not forced to be with me. He knows that, and I'm not forced to be with him. But at this stage, the reality is he's not with anyone, and nor am I. But I do know that our relationship, I believe God has allowed to, I've learned so much going back to the Moana situation. Okay, so keep in mind it is a legal Commonwealth game, and I just felt that these are the kind of things that was my journey to find out for myself. Okay, it's a very serious situation for anyone, so I don't believe in relationship scams or arranged marriages, but I must say I will put up one of the laws as far as spiritually speaking, okay, and why why integrity and honesty, whoever thought of the old system of the laws in the past, it had everything to do spiritually. It's not just laws, okay, they're not just words and laws and that's it. So we're talking about, some other religions, some other cultures, they have their belief, and I don't believe in some of their belief, and saying that they don't have any right to put their belief in me. But the laws are actually set out for spiritual reasons, and also for people to abide and learning to make their own decisions rather than coalitions making decisions. Okay, so quite clearly the evidence made on my personal testimony is fraudulent. I will go over the laws that I covered in court. Okay, I will go over those laws to prove to the judge that everything that they have said or written about me is fraudulent. All right, and also linking to the law. So yeah, it did end up really interesting. I mean, some of the things I don't realize until after I do it, and I'm like, I'm glad I did that. Like, spiritually speaking, God just revealing to me as like, you guys just mislead the judge, whether it is a coalition game or whatever it is, and they think that if they all go along together and that's the end of that. But if it's fraud about somebody's reputation and anything to do with money laundering, if it can be proven, it's a criminal case. So I'll leave it at that. The judge is brand new. She was lovely. She was good to me. So I just had to kind of walk her through. I didn't have much time. They put the pressure on me. I wasn't happy because even where I am staying, I know they're being used. Okay, it's not a safe environment when people are being used, like organised crime, and then linking to my court case or linking to my environment when I go out in public. Okay, it's organised crime, and so I've just had to live with and just take one day at a time. But people are secretly stealing, and it's a lockout situation, and I can actually prove that they did that to me while I was working for the Ministry of Justice, going back to when the breaches first started, and then they just accumulate. Okay, so that's what's happened. They just accumulate every year, and it's been quite scary for me and daunting in knowing that they're deleting evidence, they're destroying my personal property, they're trying to wipe me out from the face of the earth like I don't exist. They've interfered in everything. So I'm just going to go with it, and I'll leave it at that, and I'll put up the next video clip in regards to my court case. And I know also that the investigators have got something to go by and tips for everyone else, so they can see the changes themselves. Okay, thanks, bye.